So, you want to learn the art of more FPS? It comes at a heavy cost. Frame distortion.
Well, that was enough cringe voice acting for one day. First, I'll show you how to enable it and what it is, and then we'll talk about the downsides which come to it and why you would consider using this. So let's open the Nvidia app, right-click on the icon, select Nvidia App. Once in, we'll select Graphics and we'll find Planetside. We're gonna scroll down to the older driver settings and find Smooth Motion. This is what we're going for, and select On. Now, smooth motion is basically inferring an additional frame between two rendered frames. It's frame extrapolation for games that don't support things like DLSS. Now, why is this important? The difference is that DLSS and MFR receive data from the game on the objects, lighting, and so on to make a better approximation. They know which elements belong to the UI and which to the scene. Here, there is no data coming in. It is simply brute forcing frame extrapolation to give you more FPS. Now, we're on Hasen, maxed out settings, no DLSS applied. As you can see in the bottom left corner, by pressing Alt+F, we're getting 140 FPS, CPU bound. Obviously, nothing is going on right now. However, if we look at the upper right corner, we see 290 FPS. Is that a mistake? No, that's frame extrapolation at work. It's taking the frames which we see and putting one in between. However, look at the crosshair, how it's blurry. Look at the dot, how it's jumping around. That is the downside I was talking about. The game doesn't know that the dot is a UI element, that it's not something to be extrapolated, so it's trying to guess how it would move like an object in the game. But that's it. So the question is, would you use this? I think so. Because, well, here we gotta get philosophical. My competitive days are over. If you're a hyper-ranked player, you may not appreciate this feature. You want the raw experience. Performance isn't an issue anymore on 12 to 24 fights. But if you're like me, just chilling as the sun sets, then yes, I think having a more comfortable, smoother experience is a nice visual candy to have. It makes those big fights more tolerable. Now, we gotta note that you need to have good enough FPS for the extrapolation to feel smooth and seamless. Because I'm getting 140 FPS right now, there's no lag, no delay. It feels perfect except for the UI being funky. If I'm in a big fight or getting down to 30 FPS, 40 FPS, then yeah, the feature loses some of its appeal. It still works. The game is far easier to see, far more manageable, but obviously the effect is not as seamless as it would be in an empty environment. So my suggestion is play with it. See what it does for you. I think it's a fun feature to have, especially for those that have faster monitors like 240 Hz. I mean, if you got all the FPS, why not use it? For AMD users, again, it exists. I believe it's called FSR. I've got no idea how to turn it on. And again, this is not pure true DLSS, if you will. That's why if you use MFR or DLSS in, for example, Call of Duty, there is no UI element smearing at all. It's seamless. And I hope it helps. I hope it gets you more enjoyment out of the game, because it certainly did for me.